PM-WANI is a government initiative for increasing the Wi-Fi adoption in our country. So as you know, and many of you would also agree with me, that Wi-Fi is one of the cheapest, reliable, and most effective technology for the last mile, right? As in last mile connectivity is one of the most challenging problems of connectivity, internet connectivity, because there are a lot of variables at play. It's more expensive, it is more challenging, and the last mile usually was done using, let's say in the past was ADSL. Some people use cable technology, some people use fixed line wireless technologies, and so on. But more, I think overall there is a consensus, not just in India but worldwide, that Wi-Fi is one of the most effective and cost effective as well as reliable technology for last mile connectivity. So government, I think, has created a very good initiative by offering this PM-WANI program to us, because what they are doing is they are helping companies like us and many others like yourselves to adopt this program and take connectivity and become a internet expand the internet connectivity within the country, and in the process also make sure that all of you are able to generate revenue as well as increase your business in return. So one of the most important or highlighting aspect of PM-WANI program is that there is no licensing fee. If you are an ISP, you know that you are paying licenses to the government for operating your business. With PM-WANI program, there is no license to be paid, no AGR fees to be paid to the government, right? Which is very, very attractive, because I think immediately you have an upside about this program once you install this PM-WANI hotspots. And the whole model, the idea about the PM-WANI program was built on the successful PCO model. So as you know that PCO was one of the most important or technological programs in our country. It was responsible for getting us connected, giving us a telephone in hand, and because we have telephone in our hand today, we are there's a lot of, it is creating a lot of wonders. It is really contributing to the growth of the country, to the GDP of the country, and overall upliftment of people from the poverty, right? As in, we all agree to that because of connectivity, the country has progressed quite a lot. There are actually statistics that I think every 10% increase in the internet penetration adds 1% to the GDP and such like that. So it has value, as in, you know that as you get connected, it creates new business models, it creates new business ideas, it helps people connect, get access to information, to be more informed, and a lot of things. As in today in the current COVID times, I think connectivity has played a very, very important role. So operators will become, the idea here is that the operators will become MVNOs for Wi-Fi access. So many ISPs will take up this model, will provide Wi-Fi access and become MVNOs and offer these services to the end customers. And I think government is also expecting that it will boost connectivity in rural and semi-urban areas, which are lacking compared to the big cities. As you know, big cities have very good connectivity today in India, but our urban, semi-urban and rural areas are still lacking connectivity, good connectivity, I mean. Most of them are getting connected through 4G this thing, but Wi-Fi can be an add-on to the 4G connectivity, because it is quite cheaper and also much more faster than the 4G technology today. So let's look at the PM-WANI framework in little more detail. On the right hand side is a basic diagram that shows how the PM-WANI program is laid out. So this is our technical presentation. I will follow this up with more of a commercial presentation, but I wanted to first explain the PM-WANI framework and PM-WANI program in more detail to all of the operators. And then obviously we'll tell you what all you can do as a PDOA within this whole ecosystem. We've been in this industry for almost 16 years. I'm personally involved in Wi-Fi industry for more than 18 years now. And we believe that PM-WANI is one of the unique frameworks worldwide. As in, we are working with a lot of international groups like the Wireless Broadband Alliance, with telecom infra project, with many other Wi-Fi alliance and many other similar programs. But I think based on what we understand, the PM-WANI framework, the whole the way the architecture has been laid out is quite innovative. And trust me, as in there are a lot of other countries which are actually looking up to India to see whether they can we can make this PM-WANI program successful. A lot of countries will adopt if we are able to successfully implement this program in India. All of this, the heart of this is obviously the end user, and the end users need to have seamless access to the Wi-Fi hotspot. This is one of the biggest challenges of adopting Wi-Fi, that how will you get a end user who is not very technically savvy to use Wi-Fi hotspot technology. So the idea here is that they want to make sure that it is based on a mobile app, so that it is very, very easy for the end user to use PM-WANI hotspots. Now I will explain you there are different entities. So I think most of you are aspiring to be PDOAs, which is called a public data office aggregator. So PDOAs are responsible for operating Wi-Fi hotspot and Wi-Fi services. So as a PDOA, you will be operating Wi-Fi hotspot. And then there is another entity called app provider. So the purpose of doing this is that they want to ensure that the ecosystem is open to many other companies. So app providers can need not be just PDOAs. The app providers can be even third-party companies like Paytm, or even companies like Amazon and others if they get interested. So the whole idea here is that this is similar to the UPI. You are making it an open framework so that all the companies can adopt that framework and can basically participate in the ecosystem, and everyone is on a equal level. So there's a level playing field for everyone. And the PDOAs can charge the users, so the end users, for internet connectivity. So this is one of the important, because obviously if you are doing this in deployments, you want to know how you are going to generate revenue. So it gives you open without paying any license fees. The PDOAs can charge the end users and can collect money from the end users for the internet connectivity. And all of this is being monitored and controlled, or in a sense centrally monitored, by something called a central registry, which is currently operated by CDOT. CDOT, as you know, is one of the leading entities in India. They're doing a lot of pioneering work, and obviously government, it's a government institution, so they are they are working with a lot of government institutions and helping promote connectivity and other technologies in India. So they are doing an outstanding job of building this technology, building this framework, as well as maintaining the central registry for us. I'll shortly explain you what this central registry is supposed to do. And then the users are, the idea here is that one of the biggest another challenges of Wi-Fi hotspot technology has been that Wi-Fi hotspot technology was there was not easy roaming, because if you now go from, let's say, Mumbai to Delhi, you can easily get onto an Idea network or an Airtel network, right? But that was not the case with Wi-Fi. Like every place had a different ways in which people used to connect, people are supposed to connect, and so on. So this made it very difficult. But with PM-WANI framework, what is going to happen is that the users are going to have one single mobile app that can work on any PM-WANI enabled hotspot. This is revolutionary because people don't need to install different applications. They don't need to go through a captive portal. A single mobile app is good enough to connect to any PM-WANI hotspot across the country. That's the whole idea of this whole architecture. And the mobile app will help also locate the PM-WANI hotspots. So that's another big challenge, right? When you go to, if you want to use Wi-Fi technology, you don't know where the Wi-Fi hotspots are, where the Wi-Fi is located, right? You can't have Wi-Fi everywhere. You can have it in places like coffee shops or restaurants or hotels or any other public place, a public park and so on. So how do you locate that? You can't keep on searching on your mobile phone. So you need a one mobile app that will tell you where exactly, if you're traveling from Mumbai to Delhi. So in a particular area in Delhi, it will tell you where exactly the Wi-Fi, PM-WANI Wi-Fi hotspots are located. So as you can see, that a lot of thought has gone into making sure that the Wi-Fi adoption is as seamless to the end user as possible. So let's look at the PM-WANI entities involved. So at the bottommost layer, the red one is the Public Data Office or PDO. The PDO is the one which is usually like a kirana shop. It could be any place. It could be a small shop to a big place. It could be like a big park, for example, or even an airport, or anything can be a PDO. The idea here is that the PDO is where end users will come and connect to Wi-Fi. So the PDOs will deploy compliant PM-WANI compliant Wi-Fi access point and will deliver the broadband services to the subscribers. So the framework also says that the PDO, which is usually the shop or any location, is supposed to get the internet connectivity from the local ISP. Okay, so that's the responsibility of the PDO. Now, because the PDO, like a kirana shop guy or any other place, is not a technical person, right? He or she will not be able to kind of manage the network or manage the technical aspect required for this. For that, so there is a different entity which is called a PDOA or PDO aggregator. This entity is responsible for multiple functions. It is responsible for providing authorization or authentication to the end users. So it has to run what is called as a AAA server. It has to do all the billing for the end users or help facilitate the billing, accounting. It has to do policy management. It has to basically run the PDO or the hotspot at remote sites. A PDOA can run multiple PDOs or multiple hotspots at the same time. So these are generally companies who are more technical, who has all the software and the systems in place to run this PDO or the Wi-Fi hotspot. And then there are app providers. So the app providers are the ones who will provide a mobile app. As I told you, the interesting thing about PM-WANI is that it is all app based. So there are no captive portals. The captive portal is kind of removed from the whole equation so that end users find it very, very easy to connect to a PM-WANI hotspot, right? Because captive portal is very tricky for a lot of users. So the app providers will design or will build a mobile app and will provide an interface or will integrate with a PDOA software or the software which is run by PDOA, and will provide a payment, subscription, login, and many other services which I told you earlier, roaming, discovering PM-WANI hotspots, and so on. So that's the function of an app provider. And lastly, as I mentioned to you, there is a central registry, which is kind of an overarching entity on top of all of this, which is responsible for maintaining all the PM-WANI hotspots across the country, all the operators who are running. So they will maintain a list of all the PDOs, PDOAs, app providers, and are responsible for also the overall compliance for all these entities so that they function so anyone can't come up and become a PDOA. They have to get an approval from the central registry or from CDOT in this case, that they are to be approved, and there is certain kind of a certification or a verification process so that there is a certain degree of uniformity as well as compliance as well as the usability of the system is kept as intact. So it's a very interesting and very robust architecture that has been built for the PM-WANI framework. So I mentioned to this about who are the stakeholders. This is little more in detail. I think as I told you, PDO or where the access points are actually installed. There is no registration required. Any entity, anyone in India can become a PDO. There is no licensing, there is no registration. So any shop, any place, you can set up as a PDO. The PDOA has to be a registered company. So PDO can be anyone, right? You can even have a shop act and you can become a PDO. So there is no restrictions on that. But on a PDOA, it has to be a registered entity with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And then there is a registration process that we have to go through with the Department of Telecommunications and with the CDOT. And then the app providers are also, as I mentioned to you, they are usually software companies which will build the mobile apps. So let's look at what are the main advantages that each of these entities have. So let's first evaluate. These are the three basic entities, important entities of the PM-WANI framework, right? So who are the first one? Obviously, are the end users, and they are the consumers of internet or Wi-Fi. So for end users, as I mentioned, one important what are the things that they are going to get? One is seamless connectivity. So unlike in the past, when if I stay in, let's say, Pune, and I travel to Mumbai, I don't know where I can connect to Wi-Fi. I have no clue. So I will be able to now, with PM-WANI architecture, I can go to any PM-WANI hotspot and start using the service there, right? And I think the whole promise here is that the hotspot connectivity or Wi-Fi connectivity is going to be much cheaper than 4G. Okay, and it will be much faster because obviously Wi-Fi has the advantage of connecting directly to fiber, and there is no very little kind of channel or basically frequency this thing. There are limitations that are there. So end users obviously get much lower cost internet, and then they can roam across multiple PDOs while they connect to PM-WANI hotspots, right? So they get multiple connectivity options. They can connect to any place, anytime, any PM-WANI hotspot. They get faster internet. They get cheaper internet. And in return, I think end users are the winners here because they have more options to get. Obviously, 4G is always there on their mobile, no doubt. Jio, Airtel connections are still there, but now they have much cheaper options available for them for connectivity. The PDOs or the venues where Wi-Fi is installed, what are the advantages? One is obviously they can attract new customers. Like if it's a Kirana shop, if they have put in a PDO hotspot there, then people will come there for connectivity, right? And they will obviously get more business. If it is a local restaurant there, they can put it up and people will come there to get a free internet connectivity, for example. So that is always, Wi-Fi is always a crowd puller for these people. Obviously, it will improve the branding, additional revenue sources, because the PDO can always negotiate with PDOA, such as you, to get a revenue share from the revenues that get collected, right? They say, okay, pay me 20% of the revenues that you collect from the end users. And it creates a customer goodwill. And obviously, they can promote and advertise their products and services. So I'll come to that, how they can promote and advertise about their services. Lastly, the PDOA. For PDOA, it's a new business model. Means most of the PDOAs are internet service providers, and they traditionally have been giving connectivity to homes or offices and so on. But right now, all of a sudden, a new business model comes up because they can just set up a PM-WANI hotspot and start offering Wi-Fi services to the end customer, and they don't have any additional infrastructure to lay out because their cable is already there. They're already giving connectivity to all the people, means to that business. For example, they can just put if, for example, if a restaurant or a cafe or any of this place already has your internet connection, all you need to do is set up a PM-WANI access point, a compliant access point, and you become a PDOA. And if any people who connect there, even if you get, let's say, 500 rupees a month extra from it, it's an additional revenue for you, right? So that will help you subsidize a lot of your this thing, and you obviously have a lot of surplus bandwidth that can be used. And they can expand this, as in they can go from one area to other and expand this business. They can build their own PDO network and improve, obviously add more customer base, because their broadband fixed customers, the broadband customers are limited, as in they are, let's say you have 5,000 subscribers, then they will remain 5,000. But all of a sudden you're increasing your customer base, increase revenue, and obviously introduce add-on services. So to your existing home subscribers, you can say, okay, you can also roam on all the PM-WANI hotspots in the locality, So you go to the public park, you can get connected, you can go to any other place, you can still remain, and your same username, password, or your account will stay active. So let's look at, so far what I've discussed is what is the PM-WANI framework. Now I'm going to go to the next part, which is what Indio Networks is offering. So as many of you know that we are primarily an OEM. We build our own technology and we offer it to all our partners, and many of you have worked with us over a lot of projects over the years. So as we are offering we have four different offerings for this program. So let's look at one of them, or each one of them in detail. First and foremost, not any access point, like you can't get any a random access point and make it compliant with the PM-WANI framework. There are certain technical details, and there are some technical limitations or technical requirements, you can call it, that are required from the access point. So from our perspective, we are offering a fully PM-WANI compliant access point, both indoor and outdoor version. And more importantly, we don't have to fiddle around with that access points. You as an operator don't have to fiddle around with those access points. It's a plug and play setup, or zero configuration, zero touch configuration, right? So you just plug it into your broadband connection or whatever your fiber connection, and it is ready to go live. It offers good coverage. We have outdoor variants with good technology. All our access points are generally based on Qualcomm chipset, so very reliable, proven technology. We offer both single and dual band, because in some places, especially in rural areas, you really may not require a dual band access point. So we offer even a low cost single band access point in those cases. And we have some of our variants are actually manufactured in India. So we have started manufacturing some of our access points in India. This is one aspect that we are offering. The second thing that we are offering is the PDOA software. So this is one of the most critical components of this whole thing. And many of the companies will need, almost all the PDOAs will require some sort of PDOA software. So what is this PDOA software? One, it has to be compliant with the WANI framework. So you can't just get something off the shelf or somewhere else and try to make it PM-WANI. There are some technical requirements, the way there's a lot of interaction that happens between the mobile app, the access point, and the software, and the central registry, and so on. So all that thing has to be done. So our PDOA software has been certified and is ready to operate as a PM-WANI hotspot. To operate PM-WANI hotspots, right? So it also comes with a high performance AAA server. So AAA is an authentication server, which is the kind of the heart of any authentication or any hotspot environment. And then there are a lot of compliances. There are logs have to be maintained. The history of the eKYC details have to be maintained. All of these have to be maintained. So there are DOT compliances. So all of those have been taken care of by the software. It provides full billing and payment capabilities. That's another important aspect, because if you're going to charge the end customers, even if it is a small amount, you need to have a payment gateway integration. You need to have all the payment systems in place. And it has a full NMS and Wi-Fi or AP management capabilities in it. So to check the health of your PM-WANI network, to check the health of your access point, to look at what is happening, or everything, as in it's a full-fledged NMS system. It's all integrated into one platform. And then it provides you very powerful analytics reports and a lot of things, as in everything that you need. As you know that we have been in this Wi-Fi hotspot technology for 16 years. So we have an extensive experience of what all is required for operators when they run these Wi-Fi hotspots. Then on the top left, our mobile app. This is another very important aspect of the WANI framework. So we need a WANI certified mobile app. It has to be very simple, easy to use, and more importantly, that PM-WANI app has to work with any PM-WANI hotspot. I think I mentioned to you that you can, once the app is installed, you can go to even any other any PM-WANI hotspot in any part of the country, and that app will be able to get you logged into that hotspot. So that's the WANI hotspot technology. and it is currently available. We have built it for Android platform. And we have an option for white labeling, which we'll shortly discuss. So basically, you may ask, there will be questions from many of you that that mobile app, if you want it with our logo and all, we'll talk about that. And lastly, we also offer PDOA as a service. So we offer our PDOA license. So we are also a registered PDOA, and we will offer our PDOA license for the operators who don't have the capabilities or the technical expertise required to run as a PDOA. So they can use our PDOA license to run their networks. So this is a typical PM-WANI architecture. On the top is a Wi-Fi access point, a PM-WANI enabled access point, where obviously the mobile user is connecting using a WANI app, right? And then the access point is connected through the internet to a PM-WANI through a PM-WANI API to our backend. So the bottommost part is where all the magic happens. There's a AAA server, there is an SDK, there is a what is called as an orchestrator. Then there is a PDOA server which communicates with a mobile app server. And then there is a billing platform which interfaces with external billing systems. And all of this, all the data and everything is stored. So the cloud SDK is also integrating with or interfacing with the CDOT registry. So all of this, the PDOA infrastructure that you are seeing at the bottom is a part of the PDOA software. So the second thing that we are offering is we call it Indio Wave. The name of our app is called Indio Wave. So that is something that's already uploaded on Google App Store. So it's a fully compliant. So many of you may be aware there is a version 1 and version 2 of the APIs or the specs that have CDOT has created. So I think we are one of the few companies, or I think we are I think besides CDOT, I'm not sure, but besides CDOT, we are the only company which is compliant with the version 2 of the mobile app, version 2 of the API that CDOT has published, because they have made some changes to how the integration works. So obviously, some of our competitors are also working on the integration, but this is compliant with the version 2 of the CDOT specifications of the PM-WANI app. It is designed for PM-WANI hotspots. I showed you some screenshots on the right hand side. It is one-click hotspot login, basically very, very simple for the end users. You just click on a button and you get online. There is no, obviously you have to do one-time OTP registration, like eKYC has to be done. We'll show you a short video about how this works. And it provides you maps and hotspot locator and so on. Every user's usage can be tracked, so his history about how much data that the user has consumed will be shown or will be available to the user, especially when you are charging the customers for internet connectivity. You want the users to see his own history and want to monitor his own history of payment and as well as his usage. So all of those are integrated into the mobile app. So here are some screenshots. I purposely took some screenshots and showed how the app looks like. So on the left hand side, you will see a link of this is where you enter your one-time password. This is one-time registration process for a one particular PDOA. So if let's say you are a PDOA and you operate 100 hotspots, so a new user will always have to register once. So they don't have to go to every hotspot and register again. Right, so they go into one hotspot in your area and they can register with their mobile number and with the OTP, and then the Wave software will actually Wave mobile app will automatically remember that. So next time when it comes back, it will welcome you. It will show you view your Wi-Fi networks. It will show you what all Wi-Fi networks PM-WANI hotspots are available in nearby, and then it will go through the login process. So this is kind of the way in which things work. So I wanted to actually show the process flow. So this is a video. I will click on one of them, and so you will get to see how the app works. So this is the PM-WANI login process. So you can see how simple the PM-WANI login process has, we have made it. So you see, you are online. So there is only one button to be clicked after you've done your OTP registration. Once the user connects to any PM-WANI hotspot, the user can go log in with just one click. Now, obviously, you want to also charge the end customer, right? You want to make the end customer needs to pay for the service. So we have integrated, we have shown an integration with Razorpay, which is one of the payment gateways that is supported by our PDOA software. So let's look at how PM-WANI payment process through the mobile app works. This is actually rating of your hotspot. So now you are asked to select one of the plans, and it is redirecting you to the payment page. It's redirecting you to Razorpay. So the user is paying 10 rupees. So you get options for card payment, UPI payment, and others. That's it. So your recharge has been done and you are online. It says go online and you're home. So you have made a payment online. So we wanted to actually show how the payment process works, right? As in, so you can see it's very, very simple. It's based on UPI. It is you can do multiple bank transfers, credit cards, and multiple payment options are provided. So PDOA manager or the cloud software. So we have shown some screenshots on the left hand side of what this PDOA soft manager looks like. So what does it provide you? It provides you, I think, a high performance AAA server. It also has captive portal. So there could be devices where you can't install the mobile app for laptops, for example. So in that case, the PM-WANI frameworks actually provides captive portal access. So we have captive portal, very rich captive portal engine that can be used along with the PDOA manager. Then you can specify policies that you want to control access of the users based on data, based on time, based on number of devices. So we call that end user policies. So all of these can be controlled. So how many devices people can use, how much data they can use, at what speed the user can browse, all of those things. The whole billing and payment gateway integration is provided by PDOA software. Then DOT compliance. So you should be, as I mentioned to you, the eKYC logs, everything, the session logs, the NAT logs, all of those are captured by the PDOA software. And lastly, you can generate a lot of analytics. We have about 50, more than 50 different types of reports that you can generate through the PDOA software. Let's look at the access points. I think these are fully managed access points, high performance cloud as well as controller managed. They are based on Qualcomm. All are PoE enabled. Most of them are PoE enabled, which is very important if you're, especially if you're doing outdoor installation. And we have some of them are like outdoor access points, which can be installed in rainy environments. So it is all weather. And as I mentioned to you, selected models are also manufactured in India. We are one of the few companies which is manufacturing access points in India right now. So I mentioned to you the login flow. This is more technical implementation for those who are technically savvy or want to go into the nitty-gritties of what happens behind the scenes. This is where there's a concept of tokens, and these tokens are exchanged between the mobile app, the software, and C.dot registry and all those things. So what all information is going back and forth is kind of captured here. So you can see that it's quite a involved process. It has to be implemented this way in order for your software to be WANI compliant. I mentioned to you, many of you have expressed interest to use Indio as a PDOA. So we can use that, but obviously in that case, we will have to work out the models and what kind of how we are going to provide it. We'll discuss it separately, what the commercial aspects of it, but we definitely can help many of our partners to get started at least initially with our PDOA license. So that concludes the technical presentation of the PM-WANI architecture and PM-WANI program in general. So I will open up the floor to questions.